Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Dumpster Fire Fight Review. I'm your host, Sean. This is your other host, Zach. And we have a lot to talk about today, don't we?
Yeah, I was told there's a lot of things I'm not allowed to say, though.
Yes, I was told the same. So, it's fair.
All right. Well, we're going to review this weekend's fights, but we're also just going to go over, what are we going to call this, Sean? This week in dumb MMA news? Or
Yeah, something like that. Maybe something a little snappier. We'll brainstorm on it.
We'll figure it out. Brainstorm. I don't really have one of those, but all right.
Yeah. But
all right.
anyways,
So
yeah.
Oh, I was going to say, we'll start off with the Diaz brothers. So
Yes.
You guys have known, or maybe if you don't, breaking news, I guess. Not really breaking news because people have been talking about it for a little bit and we're a little late on the jump here. But
Yeah.
Vicente Luque calls out Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz seems to be okay with it. Luque says, you know what, I'm not going to sell this fight with my talking. People know how I fight in the ring. And Diaz seems to agree with that. So, Sean, I'll toss this to you. Why?
Because I think it's a great match. Like, as far as like a fight I want to see and, like some cool stuff happening, I like this.
Are you really trying to see Nate get TKO'd?
Nate's not going to get TKO'd. Sorry. It's just not going to happen.
Luque
he is ride or die.
It's harder. He's a bigger man. Yes, Nate is a lightweight. He keeps fighting welterweight. Yeah. Luque is on the cusp of a title shot. I mean, if I'm Nate Diaz's team, it's very similar to the Leon Edwards fight. They're trying to take the most winnable fight in the area of the top of welterweight to potentially get them a title shot. But I'm sorry, I don't want him at welterweight. I just don't. Don't try to get a welterweight title shot. Do you know the terrible things Usman would do to this man? Like, I love Nate Diaz. I do. I adore this man. But what, he rocked Leon Edwards? Now he has a chance against Usman? Like, get out of here with that. Come on.
Usman, in my opinion, pound for pound, probably the best fighter in the world.
No, Conor McGregor.
Conor Brittle Bones McGregor. Well, no, but I'm excited for this. Like, we'll just get to see some guys throw hands. Like none of those leg kicks. Nate Diaz taught me that leg kicks don't work.
Didn't Luque just submit Michael Chiesa?
Your point. Luque makes it sound like he's going to throw hands with Nate, He
definitely will throw hands with Nate. I just don't like that fight for Nate just because the hellacious abuse that Nate has taken over his career.
Granted, Nate has taken a few more shots than most people.
Okay. I don't want to see Nate get beat up by a prime Vicente Luque. I'm sorry. I just don't. It's like when Romero elbowed Machida in the face until Machida.
And everyone's heart just, even if you were a Romero fan, seeing Machida done like that, your heart just broke a little bit,
Yeah, like I don't want to see it. It's the same reason I don't ever want to see Conor fight Makhachev. Like there are certain things you just don't want to see. If you're gonna do a next Diaz fight, the fight that makes the most sense is Conor McGregor 3. They're both kind of coming off losses.
Yeah.
We forget Nate. What happened to Nate against Masvidal? He got whooped. It was a doctor stoppage, not a knockout. But come on, we all know where that was going. I don't care what people say. Diaz was not coming on.
But we've seen Nate fight Conor before,
and it's better version of
Conor. Yeah,
it's awesome.
No, I know. I'm saying like you're talking like, oh, were you bringing up the Masvidal thing to say that's why Nate shouldn't be at welterweight?
Yes,
because I agree completely. I like Nate better at lightweight. I feel like at lightweight he's just like he's a potential like threat, but at welterweight, I don't know. He just doesn't seem strong enough, big enough.
Nate fought Conor at welterweight.
Yeah,
he beat Pettis at welterweight to get the Masvidal fight. Pettis is a 155er. Conor's a 155er. Yeah. If they want,
all of his impressive showings at welterweight have been against other lightweights.
Well, if they want to be at welterweight, then fight a lightweight at welterweight. Poirier's even down for it. Yeah. Actually, I would rather see the Poirier-Nate fight.
Ooh, that would be fun. I'd like that.
But Nate already beat him because Poirier pulled out of the fight once.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
By
Poirier pulled out, Nate get that dub. He's scared.
Yeah.
Easy.
31. So moving on to
all right, yeah, the other Diaz brother. This is pretty relevant fight news, actually. I didn't know this was happening until very recently. The Diaz and Lawler, the Nick Diaz and Robbie Lawler fight that was originally supposed to take place at welterweight is now moving up to middleweight and will be 5 rounds.
We're gonna party.
This is what I wanted.
We're partying like 2004. Come on.
Yeah, I am so excited for that.
The rationale is just, why are we cutting weight?
Yeah. Both guys looked at each other and they're like, why are we doing this? You fine with middleweight? I'm fine with it. Yeah.
These older fighters, they're normally welterweights. I don't.
Yeah.
Okay. You can say, well, Nick's had fights at middleweight. Yeah, he fought Anderson Silva at middleweight and didn't look too great. Like, let's be honest there. But Anderson's also fought at welterweight before. I'm not going to get into the whole Anderson Silva thing, but
that's a whole lot of stuff. Yeah.
Lawler versus Nick Diaz at 185. I don't see anything problem with it. They're just blown up welterweights, but they're late in their career, long in the tooth. Why make them go through a weight cut? Neither of them have title aspirations at this point.
Yeah.
Let's do some fun guy fights.
They're making the money. They're going to put on a great show. I think they're going to make a lot of money from it. Why kill yourself with a weight cut? For some like Nick Diaz is 38.
He hasn't fought.
And he hasn't fought in forever, since like 2016.
I don't think he's fought since Obama was president.
Yeah.
So that should say anything about it.
No reason for him to go kill himself on a weight cut. Same with Robbie Lawler.
I like that it's 5 rounds though, but we're going to cover that fight when we do a little bit of a breakdown or next video to talk about.
I almost always prefer 5-round fights. Like if every fight could be 5 rounds, I'd kind of like that better. 3 rounds almost feels too short sometimes. Jeremy Stevens versus what's his name?
Yeah,
you know who I'm thinking of.
Yair Rodriguez.
Yeah. That goes on one more round. I think Stevens would have taken that.
Yeah, but I will say this. Every time Phil Davis or Raquel Pennington fights has to be 3 rounds.
Oh God, please. Yes.
Thank you. Yes. So moving on, we talked about it a little bit earlier, Conor McGregor. We usually only talk about him for his abilities in the cage, but I have to bring this up because why do you agree to throw out a first pitch if you can't throw a baseball?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. He's at the Chicago Cubs throwing out a first pitch for a game and just says, you know what? I'm going to aim for the catcher and hit the crowd. And the best part about it, I saw Brett Okamoto tweet about it. Great journalist in the MMA game. Love Brett. He just tweets out, the mascot's reaction is what sells it the best, because the mascot slowly follows the ball as it goes into the crowds, and then you just see him eyeing down Conor.
He's just like, what was that, man?
Really? So, and it's not like you can say, oh, he's Irish, he should have an excuse for it. No, because
it's you could throw it like anything else you'd ever throw, and it would have been more accurate than that. This went way up and off to the right into the crowd. It was nowhere close.
But you can practice this.
Also true, yeah.
Come on. You've never thrown a ball?
Yeah. Ever? Come on, man.
Come on. Or at least underhand it. Just get it to the catcher.
You know what it was? Maybe the leg threw him off. Maybe his balance is all messed up. It was just the leg. That's all it is. There's an excuse for everything McGregor does, Zach.
My foot was a balloon. Yeah, all right.
Dead meme, but yeah.
Yeah, Conor's gonna go out and say that the ball was in his DMs. Anyway, let's move on. So Paul Felder is going to be Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan has decided, you know what? There's a huge event. Nick Diaz is returning. Perfect time to go hunting. So then we get Paul Felder in commentary. And personally, I like Joe Rogan. I'm not here to badmouth Joe Rogan anyway whatsoever.
As you're about to badmouth Joe Rogan a little bit.
But I like Paul Felder more.
I do too. As a commentator, I do too. I love Joe Rogan. He is one of the biggest figures in the MMA community, but sometimes he gets a little fixated.
If he's on there with Cormier, it just turns into like a giggle fest, and I'm just
yeah. Or he'll analyze really weird things. Like if you watch the Jan Blachowicz fight versus Israel Adesanya, the entire time he was talking about Izzy's fangs. The entire time. Like he just gets a little too fixated on things, you know?
He has his biases towards certain fights.
Oh yeah.
But I think everyone does.
I mean, yes, but you know, I feel like some commentators are better at like mitigating it than others, you know.
I just want to see Cormier commentate John Jones when he returns and then just badmouth him the entire time. He just comes out, John Jones sucks.
I want to see that so badly.
But I love John Jones. It doesn't actually suck, but you're saying it wouldn't be funny watching Cormier heckle him.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that would be hilarious. Like I would.
John would probably leave the cage and beat him up. Like
after the fight, DC would think, now's my time. Now I can beat him. He's tired. Oh God. That was one of the best rivalries like in MMA history.
I loved when Jones described their forehead touching and face off as an intimate moment.
Yeah. Some of their I feel like a lot of people don't remember this about how weird one of their interviews got.
I'm gonna make you Mrs. Jones for the night. No, you will not. I will not be Mrs. Jones.
I'm gonna rub on that belly.
He's like, it's actually nice to be under it. And then
you can see Megan O'Leary progressively getting more and more uncomfortable.
Yeah, John Jones and Cormier had some homoerotic tension. That's what the issue was.
Yeah. Say what you will about John Jones, like whether you think he's the GOAT, whether you think he's a cheat, whether you think he's, whatever. The guy's pretty funny.
Why can't
I'll give him that? He's like legitimately funny. And I feel like that's the only reason he gets away with a lot of the shit he does.
Well, why can't Conor McGregor be like John Jones? The fact that Jones could come off benders and still put on great performances.
Exactly.
So let's go.
Exactly.
Alleged benders for both of them.
Yeah. But Cocaine Jones beats Cocaine Conor any day.
I think just John Jones in general beats Conor every.
Oh, I mean, yes. But I was talking just performance-wise.
Conor at light heavyweight, I'm taking all the belts. All right, bud. Okay. So next, we got Dylan Dennis arrested in a New Jersey bar. I have no context for this. The video is out. Dylan Dennis has not released a statement.
Okay, but do we, were there anyone with like a... excuse me, with a phone camera or something like that? Do we have any idea why? I haven't
him getting arrested. We just don't have what led up to it.
No one has said anything at that bar.
Not that I've seen. I haven't seen any press announcements on that or anything. But you know what? Get right.
It's funny just because it's Dylan Dennis.
Why are you in New Jersey?
Yeah, actually, good question. Why are you in New Jersey?
Come on, it's New Jersey, bro.
Doesn't he train in Ireland and lives in LA?
No, I don't follow Dylan Dennis that closely. It hurts. So I'd rather not lose the few remaining brain cells I have.
Let's get to the meat and potatoes. Let's get to talking about. First off, we'll start with that Bellator fight card. Main event. Phil Davis, Yoel Romero. We were wrong.
Yeah, it was 3 rounds. It's kind of funny. We thought it might have been 5 rounds.
Yeah, because at the time that we were recording and researching the video, there was no information on it. We just assumed main event Bellator 5 rounds. But apparently we've learned recently Bellator only has 5 rounds for title fights, I believe, right?
Yeah, it's only for title fights, and I actually watch Bellator, but weirdly enough, I don't know, I don't watch it as consistently as I would like.
We just lapsed on that, I guess, but we're also just wrong about the result.
Well, we're the reason. I like to think we're the reason Romero thought it was 3 rounds, not 5 rounds.
I hope so. I hope Yoel Romero was one of our 50, not even 30 viewers. And he was like, 3 rounds or 5 rounds. Got it.
I like to think that Yoel Romero We just savaged Yoel Romero.
Yoel Romero is one of our 10 subscribers.
I hope so.
I hope so too. God, he's a loyal one too.
So
shout out to Yoel Romero.
It goes back to something I wanted to touch on a little bit last week, but we ended up going into it too much. Why do you matchmake Yoel Romero against Phil Davis? Come on.
Actually, though.
Come on. Like, for his debut, you can't give him someone fun?
Yeah. Honestly, right? Like you've got one of the most exciting fighters coming over from the UFC. If you just give him the right matchup.
And you're like, you know what? When he fights really long guys, Yoel Romero tends to freeze up. Let's give him a really long guy who fights really patient and really boring. Let's go. Phil Davis is a great fighter. No knock on his skills.
Yes. No, he's fantastic.
When I watch Yoel Romero in Bellator at light heavyweight, I want to see Yoel Romero with thunderous knockouts KOing people.
Yes.
So I don't like that. It was just bad matchmaking in my opinion. I mean,
yeah,
you could find other fighters for him to fight.
Yeah.
Even give him a tune-up match. Like give him someone kind of like Rumble got. And I know that Rumble only got him because Romero fell out, but give him someone who is a little less experienced or maybe a little more experienced.
Yeah.
Throw in someone like Melvin Manhoof. Like throw in someone who you know is going to make a good fight, because people who don't really know Phil Davis, which a lot of carry over from the UFC. Phil Davis hasn't fought in the UFC in a very long time. A lot of the fandom is pretty new. Mm-hmm. So have Romero fight someone that he can look like a beast. Why not? Because now you have people, the UFC released him because he's washed. And that's the narrative they're going to have. I don't think Romero's washed. Do I buy that 3 rounds versus 5 round thing? I buy that about as much as Paulo Costa when he says is he drunk.
But also, it is the most Yoel Romero excuse I've ever heard in my life.
No,
I didn't know how many rounds the fight was. That is the most Yoel excuse I've ever heard in my life.
I think Yoel Romero is taking a page out of Chael Sonnen's book. Like when Chael was talking about how he got stuck by Anderson in their first fight, he's like,
I just lost the round. I didn't lose the fight.
He's like, I thought when I tapped out, it meant that I lost the round, not the fight. And of course he didn't mean that. And everyone around him thought it was funny. You have Uriah Faber and Dominic Cruz can't keep a straight face when Chael's saying that. But you know what? I give him some credit. Like, I really do. It's funny.
Mm-hmm. It's funny.
It's funny. And credit to Yoel Romero. He always brings some sort of entertainment, even if it's not the case.
Yeah, that's the thing. That is one of the things I like about Yoel is he always makes it fun. Even if the fight's not fun, he always has something to talk about. He always gives you something,
Yeah. And for matchmaking for Yoel, I want to see him fight Melvin Manhoof. They're both
older guys.
Manhoof is 45. Manhoof retired from kickboxing to focus on MMA. Why not?
Yeah.
Coming off a loss for Romero.
Yep.
Melvin Manhoof's going to stand and bang. He's going to be aggressive. He's going to do Melvin Manhoof things.
Yeah. Yoel's going to do his thing, and it'll be fun. It'll be fireworks.
Let's have it. Or if Rumble can come back, but Rumble's out with an undisclosed injury or sickness.
I'm not Rumble. He hasn't disclosed why, but he had to pull out of his fight against Nemkov because he got sick. He said he wishes he could go into it. He makes it sound like it's serious, which is really worrying.
Yeah, it's never good to see it. I don't want to speak ill of Rumble, but
no, absolutely not. I love Rumble.
I just want to see Rumble KOing people again.
I do too. So, that's all anyone wants, is Rumble come back, knock some people out, get better, man.
Speaking of knockouts, Neiman Gracie.
Throwing hands.
Like, I love it.
Who expected that? First round knockout from Neiman Gracie. What?
Gracie gets knockout.
Yeah.
And I know what you people are going to say, you fall really close. Well, they called him Vitor Gracie. Vitor Belfort was not a Gracie. That whole KO of Vanderlei Silva, get that out of my face right now. You know exactly what I mean. I mean the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu family. I don't mean the fact that they tried to promote Vitor by calling him Vitor Gracie. Okay? So, Neiman Gracie has some hands. I love it. Let's
Yeah.
see. I mean, some say it might have been a little early stoppage against Mark Lemminger. You know what? I don't care.
I can see that argument, but also I don't think it was going to get better for Lemminger. I don't think it was. Like,
I don't think so either, because he dropped. Eventually he's gonna drop, and if he's on the floor, it's done.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think that was going to go much better for him. So I was fine with that stoppage.
Next fight for him, match him up with Logan Storley. I'd love to see Logan Storley's wrestle against Neiman Gracie's jiu-jitsu and see it. It could be pretty interesting on the feet because Neiman Gracie seems to have some good power. We know Logan Storley gave Amosov a close fight. Amosov's the current welterweight champion at Bellator. Run it. I think it'd be pretty interesting. I think it's good matchmaking. Good way to promote both of them. Could be a decent main event for Bellator. Why not?
Yeah.
So,
and then I'd be down to see it any day.
And then for Phil Davis, wait for Corey Anderson. I mean, there's no one really.
It doesn't make sense for him to fight anybody else.
Well, who's he going to fight at? They're like, we went through the Bellator rankings and didn't really see anyone at light heavyweight that makes a lot of sense for him.
Yeah, besides waiting for Corey Anderson.
Corey Anderson's fighting Ryan Bader.
Yes.
I think Bader should win that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you fight Anderson after that. But Phil Davis, I would sit tight for a little bit, unless he wants to take someone below him or maybe someone like Carl Albertson, even though he's already beat him.
But it's like when we were going through it, I was saying like he's got his best bet is to wait for Corey Anderson because fighting anybody else, he's got a lot to lose and not much to gain. Like you take a loss at this point. Oh, well, you're going to have to, especially from a guy that, like, let's say he fights the number 9 ranked guy. He's number 3. That's going to be a pretty big drop to him. He's going to have to work his way back up to get in like title range. Yeah. And if he wins, then it's like, okay, you beat a guy that everyone expected you to beat, wait for Anderson.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. And if we're moving on to the UFC, because I don't really have much more to add to the Bellator card, do you?
To add to the Bellator card, that's about all I got.
All right. So the UFC, Anthony Smith submits Ryan Spann.
Yes.
I personally I don't think this was a very good main event. I mean, that's why we didn't really cover it. I love Anthony.
I would have. They almost had a matchup that I'd like to see. I think I would have preferred to see Anthony Smith versus Kudalaba, to be honest.
Yes.
I know Kudalaba is not ranked, but just like theoretically, I think that would have been the fight I prefer to see. I think Spann is very overhyped.
That would have been a fight. And Ryan Spann, ever since he got destroyed by Johnny Walker, I mean, yeah, it was a close fight. He landed a shot, but he gets too excited. The problem with Ryan Spann is he lands a good shot, gets too excited, gets him caught into a bad position. He's just not the most composed striker. Now, he can definitely polish it up, and I actually do think Ryan Spann could be a good fighter.
Yes. But do I think he deserves necessarily number 11 at this time ranking? I don't think I do.
I don't like that ranking at all. I think
I wouldn't. I would call him maybe, like if he was like number 15 or just right outside the rankings, but he's not number 11.
So I wasn't a huge fan on that one. And if I were to look at his career and then try and determine a match that would make a lot of sense, I would think that Kudalaba actually would be a fun matchup for Ryan Spann, just because both of them seem to go for it. Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, Kudalaba is, in the nicest of ways, Kudalaba is one of my favorite fighters on the roster. I mean, he just brings it every time. Mm-hmm. Insane intensity. I mean, he painted himself.
He's fun to watch fight. Win, lose, draw. He's fun to watch fight.
Well, that Khalil Roundtree fight, for as long as it lasted, was a blast. Even the Ankalaev 2 fights was really fun. Now, the first one was controversial, but the second one was pretty definitive. Ankalaev beat him, but no shame in losing to Ankalaev. I mean, the dude is a beast.
Oh, no, yeah.
I think Kudalaba is very good at seeing if you're made for the top 10 or top 15. And I think that's a fight that makes sense. Cucilaba deserves a step forward for winning this fight against Devin Clark. Ryan Spann needs a little bit of a step back.
Yep.
Middle, Cucilaba versus Spann. They both just fought. Why not? And as for Anthony Smith, I mean,
well, like it pretty much got like both of them have nothing's been signed, but they both like pretty much verbally agreed to it. Rakic, December.
I like that fight.
I do too. Let's give Smith a shot at some revenge. I like that.
It was a closely contested contest, or closely contested during their first fight. I like it. I don't see anything against it. UFC seems to like it. Rakic doesn't want to just sit around, wait for a title shot.
Exactly. And I got to respect that in a fighter, I got to respect a fighter who's just not like, oh, okay, I'll wait around.
Yeah, Yahovich versus Glover Teixeira. And then we all know who's next. Yuri Prochazka. So I've been watching Prochazka since Ryzen. I love that guy.
Yuri Prochazka is crazy in the best kind of way.
Well, he's got the hair antenna to sense a knockout.
Yeah, and it gives him instructions. He receives messages from him.
So I love Prochazka, but
I do
Rakic needs to stay active. I mean, he's still young. You're still developing in the fight game, sharp skills. A wily veteran like Smith, you can never count him out. I really like Anthony Smith as well.
I do too.
So I think that could be a main event. I just don't think Spann was ready for that main event spot.
Not at all. Against a guy like Anthony Smith, a veteran, a good fighter, especially because Smith was saying he came in heavier and he felt better coming into this fight than he had in the past. No way Spann was going to have a chance, really.
Yeah, Smith fought angry, like they've been disrespecting him. I couldn't believe the odds were as close as they were.
No, I couldn't either. I was shocked when I saw how close the odds were.
Well, it's a shame that the state I'm in doesn't allow like any of those DraftKings things. So
yeah,
or else I would. But moving on, the Arman Saryukin, just next level of the Smash Machine. I mean, he defeats Morgan and does it in round one. Failed takedown, led to knockout. Pretty crazy scramble. What do you think of Arman Saryukin's upside?
Of his what?
Upside.
I mean, I like Saryukin, he's just another, well, I say just another as if like, derogatory. I don't mean it that way at all. He's a smash machine. Like you said, dude's nuts, great fighter. As far as his matchup, I'd like to see Gregor Gillespie get a swing at that.
I think that'd be fun. So
see if we can if he can, if he'll be the counter to like that smash factor they got over there. That'd be fun. He's got brilliant jiu-jitsu. He's only been knocked out once by a head kick from Kevin Lee. I think it'd be great. I want that.
It would be
it makes sense ranking wise relatively.
It would be a very interesting clash of styles. You have Gregor Gillespie, who normally takes people down, controls them, does a really, really good job of that. Saryukin, coming from the whole Caucasus Mountain region, that just seems to be killers in wrestling. I would like to see that style of the clash between American wrestling and the whole, I guess, Caucasus style of wrestling. I love that fight. And don't forget, Saryukin had that really close fight against Makhachev. Back to compete very evenly with Islam Makhachev, and he called him out. I mean, who calls out Makhachev? No one.
Exactly. That's the whole thing about Makhachev is no one calls him out. No one wants to fight him.
You got Khabib 2, and then you got Khabib 3.
Yeah, so it's scary.
I like it. I think that makes a ton of sense. That's a fight that's one of those fights I can truly say. I mean, I have to really look at the tape and start doing some analysis on it.
Yeah.
That's a fight between Gillespie and Saryukin that I truly don't know how it's going to go down.
Yeah.
I absolutely have no idea what's going to happen there.
All right, but gun to your head and you had to pick one. Who do you think's got, from your knowledge right now, that slight edge before any kind of review?
Always started good.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too. I think you would have the slight edge. We've seen what fighters from that region can do against guys who are good at jiu-jitsu and wrestling anyways. I think I'd give the slight edge to Saryukin. But Nate Manas, am I saying that right? Nate Mans versus Gravely. What do you think? That was a fun fight.
That was wild.
That was insane.
I saw two dudes get knocked out. Both of them got in the first round ends with Gravely landing a huge punch that floors Manus. And then round two starts up. I mean, Manus got saved by the bell. Yep. Round two starts up.
And then Manus the comeback.
Lands a huge hook and puts Gravely down. And I mean, what can you say other than I'm happy that the UFC made this match?
That was fantastic. That was so much fun. I loved that fight.
So I did love it. It was great. It's always a little bit frustrating when you see someone get saved by the bell, but
Granted, yes, but it's part of it. It's part of MMA. It's part of combat sports.
It's part of the sport.
Yeah.
And then you have, what do you think of Joaquin Buckley?
Buckley is the perfect example of a fighter who will never quite break into the rankings. He's fun. He gets KO'd or he KOs you. I don't see him going anywhere. He's just another brawler, I don't see him doing anything big. I think he'll put together like maybe another win or two and then probably go to sleep again.
Yeah, I'm very much in agreement with that. Joaquin Buckley, he's just a fun fighter at this stage.
He's a fun fighter. I enjoy watching him.
Unless he makes some serious improvements in his game to where he doesn't get hit as much and he's also able to manage a fight better. Because it seems like Buckley at times kind of lets fights get away from him.
Mm-hmm.
It's like he's not mentally clocked in at certain points, and then he's like, "Oh, I'm losing." Like I hate citing a meme, but I think it's fantastic. MMA Twitter does have some great memes. Joaquin Buckley is like when you're playing UFC, the video game, against someone who's kind of a novice, and then you're trying to go on them, and they're starting to tag you up a little bit, and
you're like, "Oh wow, hold up, I gotta."
And then you grab your controller and lean forward in the chair, and you're like, "All right."
Yeah.
Like that's
you get that lean forward.
Yeah. No. That's Joaquin Buckley in round 3. So he fights like he's in a video game. I'm about it.
He fights like I fight when I play UFC 3. Like
I like it.
Yeah. So, and it's fun, but you get knocked out a lot.
And then I was surprised Raquel Pennington, for as big of a name she is, was on the undercard.
Yeah.
But I fully agree with the decision by the UFC brass to put her in such a position.
Yeah, Zach. From what I remember in our conversations, you're a big Pennington fan. You love watching her fight, right?
I have nothing against her. She's probably a lovely person.
Yeah.
She works hard. Mm-hmm. She has a fight style that seems to work for her. She's had a lot of success in the UFC, has made it to a title shot level. But can I just say, I would rather watch Phil Davis and Yoel Romero have a staring contest again.
Tell us how you really feel.
Than watch Raquel Pennington every time she tags Pani Kianzad just to clinch her up against the fence again. Why? Like, you heard someone striking, you're having success with it. Why do you go to the fence every time?
Clinch them up,
I would honestly say, Sean, and I'm not even exaggerating on this one, the fight went the full 15 minutes. I would say 14 minutes of it took place on the fence. I'm not exaggerating. I mean, it was
because I missed the first fight on the main card because I had some stuff I needed to take care of beforehand that ran a little over. So I missed that first fight. But I tried to find highlights in preparation for today for recording. I couldn't.
I just can't. Like,
it was just, it was not.
She's got all decisions in terms of her wins since 2015.
Yeah. Last finish she had was a submission in 2015.
Against Jessica Andrade.
Yes, against Andrade.
Andrade fighting at 135 should tell you how long ago this was.
Yeah. So, yeah, exactly, right?
And yeah, she got wrecked by Nunes, but who doesn't get wrecked by Nunes?
Yeah, everyone gets wrecked by Nunes. You can't fault anyone for losing to Nunes,
But I would be remiss to say that Pennington's most entertaining fight was not when Nunes destroyed her. And I'm not saying that just as a hater. Like, I genuinely, I respect anyone who's willing to fight in a cage for our entertainment.
Yeah, I mean, massive respect. These guys get in there and they, put their bodies on the line to make some money and to provide us entertainment. Respect to all of them. But some of them are more fun than others.
So
and Pennington is not one of the fun ones.
Dana White famously, when he was critiquing John Fitch was accused of being a lay and pray guy for a long time. Wrestled people, held him down. Yeah. He said, if you're trying to go to bed at night, put in a John Fitch tape. I would say, Dana, I disagree. I'll put in a Pennington tape.
It'll get the job done. Like that. That was not a loud snap.
The worst part about starting this channel is that I can't get up and go to the bathroom during the Pennington fights.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, you have to sit down and watch all the fights now. You can't be like, oh, I know this one will be a snooze fest. Let me go, grab some chips, go to the bathroom, No.
But her striking actually looked good.
Yeah.
That was so frustrating about it. She landed good shots and then was like, let me clinch up. Like, I understand when you have a game plan, but she's clearly fighting for a decision. And why?
Yeah, if you have the finish there, why not go for it?
At least third round.
Third round, like, you're gonna win. Might as well try for the finish, like.
Well, I mean, Korean Zombie learned not to do that in the 5th round against Jair, so maybe.
I mean, Korean Zombie is an absolute legend. That was an amazing fight. That was a spectacular fight. But yeah.
I'll ask you from memory. Tell me your favorite Pennington fight.
What?
Tell me your favorite Pennington fight. Besides Nunes destroying her. That was her most entertaining fight.
Yeah.
I don't like.
That's all. I don't got anything. I don't think I remember the last person Pennington even fought. Like I just don't remember the fight at all. I imagine it went pretty much the same way this fight did, but
Pennington goes the distance. And other news, water is wet.
Yeah. Well, I disagree, but
fire is hot. Water is wet. George St. Pierre.
That's just wrong. Water is not wet. No disrespect to GSP for, believing it is, but it's not.
Okay. GSP knows more than anyone ever.
Is fire on fire, Zach?
Look, they have a statue of GSP.
Is fire like burning, the fire itself? No.
No, I watched fights.
Water is not wet.
No.
Being wet is having water on you.
Hey, Sean.
Something being on. Yeah.
Let's stare into this dumpster fire for a while. And all right, let's keep going here. All right, we're riveting conversation for anyone who has the misfortune of watching this.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for that. I'm passionate about this subject.
Passionate about that. You know what I'm not passionate about? Raquel Pennington fighting.
Okay, fair enough. We got anything else?
I don't think we do, but if you have anything else, Sean, if you'd like
I could read you my dissertation on why water is not wet, but apparently that's not allowed. So that's all I got. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I'm Sean. That was Zach.
I'm sorry, we can cut that. I just had to. Just fuck you. All right.
One of those is Zach. I don't know. I don't know directions. I'm back. That's Zach.
Right there, buddy. Hey, we're
keeping this in. I'm keeping this all in. Every second of it, I'm keeping in.
I don't want Raquel Pennington to slow dance with me against the fence for 15 minutes.
It'd be a pleasant date, you know. Getting into the octagon with Raquel Pennington is like going to prom, you know. You get to dance a little, you know, and it's kind of an awkward affair. You know, lots of questionable hand placement, but you know, like whatever.
Questionable hand placement. Yes. All right, so let's find a way to wrap this up.
Yes.
If you enjoy watching Raquel Pennington fight, unsubscribe.
Yeah, just please don't. Please don't.
No. All right, how do we end this at this point?
Thank you guys so much for tuning into the Dumpster Fire Fight Review. I'm Sean.
I'm Zach.
Good. That only took you a little bit to get your cue. You can follow us on Twitter at the Not So Black Beast. Go ahead and drop a like, leave a comment for us, hit that bell notification when you subscribe. You'll get notified when we upload.
Don't forget the concerns with the comments.
Yeah. Make sure you voice your comments, concerns, anything, questions.
This is very.
If you want my social security, I'll give it to you. Just subscribe.
Oh yeah, I can show you my new credit card. It looks cool.
It's got Raquel Pennington on it. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Have a great night.
Have a good one.